First things first, mate. Paddy or Patrick?
Yeah, good.
Either's fine. Happy with either.
And can you explain to us the origins of pistol?
Yeah, so when I first got to the club, obviously pretty small, pretty quick, a little bit nippy, so I obviously got fast little legs, so I think Nixie went with pistol.
How does a pistol relate to fast?
I don't know, I suppose just quick and the P as well, I suppose, so yeah.
Right. Well, congratulations on the new deal, mate. Could you talk us through how it got to that stage, and you must be very pleased?
Yeah, very happy, obviously. Drafted a little bit over 12 months ago now. Played a little bit of sample footy at the back end of last year and then about 10 games at the start of this year. So I feel like I had a decent summer and showed a little bit at the start of the sample season this year, and yeah, started to find my feet a little bit and lucky enough to break into the side. So yeah, pretty happy to be here for another few years.
What have you noticed the biggest differences between your 2 games in AFL and your year in the sample?
Probably just the speed. I suppose the bodies are probably a similar size, but yeah, the speed's definitely a step up from sample level.
How do you go against the bodies? You ever seen on the biggest bloke, as you say?
Yeah. I feel like I handle myself okay. I've put on 6 or 7 kilos since I got to the club, so yeah, I feel like I handle myself okay. I've got a little bit of a way to go physically, but yeah, I feel like I handle myself well.
What's the end goal for you there? Are there areas you need to work on physically in particular?
No, I don't have any specific goals. Just obviously keep putting on size, so eating lots, lifting weights, but still being able to run.
What about when you first got overlooked at the draft? What was that like to actually have to, work for 6 more months and have to prove yourself?
Yeah, I suppose it was tough. I wasn't really expecting to be taken when I was 18. When I was 17, I didn't have a great year. Played a little bit of NAB League footy. And then when I was 18, I didn't play any footy at all that year, so I wasn't expecting to be taken. I did nominate for the draft. But yeah, I suppose I just had to go back to Albury, did a lot of the pre-season there, and then played some decent footy there and with the Bushies at the start of that year. So yeah, it was obviously pretty excited to be taken in the end, yeah.
Yeah, well, getting your name called out, where were you that day and what was that like?
Yeah, I was at home in Albury, just mum, dad, my brother, sister, and my manager there as well. And one of my good mates got taken that night as well, so had him there as well, which was pretty cool.
Who was that?
Dan Turner, he's at Melbourne. Obviously, just played his first game, Queen's birthday, so yeah.
How early did you know the Crows were thinking of you last year?
I didn't know they were going to take me, so it was a nice surprise. I had a little bit of an inkling that they were keen, but yeah, I didn't know they were going to take me, so it was pretty cool.
How did you go the move? Like living, Albury's not tiny, but living in a bigger city?
Yeah, it was a little bit of a move. I'd lived at home since I was a kid. So yeah, it was a big move interstate as well, but I moved in with Lockie Gallant and Ronan O'Connor when I first got here, and they were good for me, and then I went into a host family for about 6 months, and now I'm back with Lockie Gallant, so yeah, we've got a good setup there, which is nice.
And how do you feel like your craft's developed, being here under some of the senior guys, Brownie, etc.? Yeah,
I feel like my footy's come a pretty long way since I've got here. Brownie and Smithers have been pretty good for me, Burnsy as well, Marco Bello, so yeah, there's been a lot of the senior players have been pretty good with me, and yeah, I feel like my craft's come a long way.
Talk us through your debut, mate. Obviously exciting, and then injury during the game. How do you reflect on it now?
Yeah, I suppose as a kid, all I dreamed of was playing AFL footy, so yeah, it was pretty cool. I had the family over, 11 or 12 mates over as well, so had a few people over here, which was cool, and obviously got that corky, which was sore, but all good now, so yeah.
And just the moment, Paddy, like when you were told, we saw Nixie release the video in the rooms, it just looked like so much fun. What were the emotions like for you?
Yeah, it's probably a little bit overwhelmed. The boys were pretty excited for me, which was cool. But yeah, and then obviously called mum and dad. And probably I wouldn't be here without them, so yeah, it was pretty cool, yeah.
And the build-up to the game, like how'd you go the night before? Did you sleep all right?
Nah, not great. Yeah, I was nervous that night and the morning of, but yeah, once you get out there, I suppose another game of footy.
And you remember your first touch? Like, do you remember the sort of play unfolding, or was it just a blur for you?
Yeah, I remember my first touch, but after that, a little bit of a blur, yeah.
And like we often hear some players, they have sort of moments in games where they're running and all of a sudden, oh, there's this bloke next to me. Did you have one of those? Yeah,
a little bit. You grow up, like watching these blokes on TV and to be running alongside them. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah.
Who was it?
Yeah, so against the Eagles or against Melbourne?
The one that stands out is probably line up on Jamie Cripps, I suppose. premiership player at West Coast. So yeah.
And talk us through the Demons clash, mate. Just the experience of tackling them.
Yeah, that was I was pretty nervous for that one. Obviously, grand final winners last year, so to line up them, good experience. I think I'll be better for that, and I feel like I'm starting to feel more comfortable at the level. So yeah, that was cool.
Where do you want to end up with your footy?
I'd love to have a long-term career here at the Crows. I've loved my time here so far. I feel like I've got some good relationships. So yeah, a long-term career would be unreal.
And what type of player? Are we just pigeonholing you into this role for forever, or do you have some evolution that, in an ideal world, you'd like to go down a different path?
I'm loving my time down back at the minute, and I feel like my defensive craft's starting to improve. But yeah, I don't know. I'd have to ask the coaches. But yeah, I see myself as a defender.
And you came over like a lot of high raps on how hard you work and your skills, particularly, Paddy. How hard do you work on, say, your kicking? Is that your main strength, do you feel?
Yeah, I feel like my kicking decision making is probably my weapon. I've been kicking a footy with my old man since I can remember. So yeah, I've done a lot of work on that prior to being drafted. So yeah, I feel like that's my weapon.
What sort of work? Anything sort of quirky in the backyard? You trying to hit targets? Or?
Yeah, I used to kick balls. I used to have a bin at home. Used to wheel it around the house and just have shots from everywhere. So.
What about away from footy, mate? We hear you a bit of a greyhound aficionado.
Yeah, ball one with a few of the boys, so got that. And then I'm doing uni as well, so I'm actually doing a Bachelor of Sports Media. So.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions for anyone out here?
Nah, not particularly.
Work experience.
Nice goal. Just on the team, mate, how have you sort of assessed where the team's placed at the moment?
Yeah, I feel like we're starting to improve every week. I feel like we're improving. You saw on the weekend that first half, I think in the last quarter, within 5 points. So to take it up to a side like Melbourne, I feel like that gives us a lot of confidence. And yeah, hopefully we can take that into this week.
And can we just touch on Rochelle quickly? How big of a loss is that to you guys?
Yeah, obviously Josh is a great player. We saw that early in the year. Some of his footy is pretty outstanding for a first-year player. So yeah, that's a big loss, but no doubt someone will come in and fill that role.